Hi guys, Mons here. On this episode about the Mons, we're going to be looking at what's gone wrong at Liverpool. It's something a little bit different. However, I'm gonna try my best to go through what seems to have gone wrong at Liverpool so far this season. Just before I get started, if you find yourself on my channel, make sure to click on the subscribe button. And everyone who's subscribed so far, I do appreciate all the support. Thank you very much. So let's just get started. So Liverpool so far this season, they're 11th in the Premier League. They've had six victories and six losses so far, no draws already. I think last season they only lost one game. That was Nottingham Forest till towards after they won the league. I think in the Premier League, which is now they've already lost 6 games. It's very, very surprising in my opinion because I felt Liverpool after the summer signings, I felt like they were going to be very, very good this season, and unfortunately that hasn't turned out to be the case. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to go through to my best knowledge what seems to be the issue from whenever I watch Liverpool play. They're leaking a lot of goals. That goes without saying. Liverpool are leaking a lot of goals. You'd expect Liverpool to be a very, very decent defensive team. Obviously, they have Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk had a brilliant first couple of weeks of the season. Even though we're still conceding, he was still playing very, very well. However, last couple of weeks, I think it's catching up on him. I think he's overdoing it in terms of it's not his fault. He has to overdo it simply because Konate has left him very, very exposed. And Konate is having one hell of a shit season, in my opinion. He's been absolute. Whenever I probably has seen him play one good game this year. But whenever I seem to see him play, he seems to either make a mistake or there's just something wrong with Konate. He's not himself this year. And normally you expect Konate to be very, very tough, physically, bully centre forwards like he did last season. But this year he's been very, very poor, in my opinion. Like the first couple of games should have been the signs, in my opinion, simply because they were conceding a lot of goals and they had to rely on late winners in the first couple of weeks of the season, in my opinion. Like I said, Konate is having a very, very poor season. But what I would say about Liverpool after all the summer signing is they're very, very top heavy. Liverpool are very, very top heavy due to all the summer signing they made, and the summer signings haven't really worked out. Ekitike is the only one that's worked out, in my opinion. However, the rest, Kirkes, I thought he was going to be a much better signing than he actually is proven to be. Because he's used to the Premier League, he was playing with Bournemouth, he had a very, very good season with Bournemouth, but all of a sudden came to Liverpool and he's not doing really well. Obviously, Frimpong was supposed to be the replacement for Trent, but he's been hunted down by injuries. Even if he wasn't injured, I don't believe he's exactly what Liverpool needed at right back because he's not very good defensively. Going forward, I think Frimpong is brilliant. But in the German League, Thierry Henry made a very, very good point about the German League yesterday, which I've stressed out the last couple of years, watching German League and watching the Premier League. German League is very, very stretched. If you're any way athletic in the German League, you're going to be fantastic. You're going to get goals, assists, you're going to look brilliant. But in the Premier League, there's lots of athletes in the Premier League. There are very, very athletic players in the Premier League. Just because you can run doesn't make you good in the Premier League. Players are going to run with you in the Premier League. They're very, very athletic, just as you are in the Premier League, or even more. So I believe that's why, obviously, I think Frimpong is going to struggle. And I believe that's one of the main reasons why Wirtz has been struggling as well. Wirtz was supposed to be the marquee signing. However, Wirtz is supposed to be the marquee signing. However, he hasn't been very, very good this season. I think in this situation, the way they treated Pogba in the past, for me, was shocking. When Pogba was bought for 90 million, Pogba was bought for. The way all the supporters, even Manchester United supporters, other team supporters, the press, the commentators, the pundits, all of them, the way they treated Pogba was absolutely ridiculous. Pogba was playing the pivot in Man United. They expect him to defend, score, assist, be man of the match every single game. I remember one time, Graham Souness, after Pogba 4 assists in the game, it was like, oh, that's what you expect from a 100 million signing. But Wirtz is 140 million, 130 million. The chap is an absolute bomb so far this season. For me, I believe, I saw him playing German League. I thought it was very, very good in German League. But like I said, like with Henry and stressed out, just German League is very stretched, unlike the Premier League. Premier League teams sit back and defend. Most of the teams aren't going to attack, especially when you play for Liverpool. They're going to sit back and defend. It's very, very hard to find those spaces, in my opinion. With Isak, after the summer debacle with Isak, I feel bad for Isak simply because he was trying to get a move away. But it's his fault as well, simply because it shouldn't have signed a new contract. Newcastle should have stressed out to them that he wants to leave in the summer, and Liverpool should have got that deal done, sorted earlier on this summer, in my opinion. If that had happened, Isak would have had a good a full pre-season, and then it would have hit the ground. It would have hit the ground running, in my opinion, because we know what Isak is like. Isak had a brilliant season last season, and I feel like Isak is a top centre forward. I just think he needs a good preseason under his belt. If you've ever played sport before, ever played football before, you know how important a good preseason is to you as a player. If you have a poor shit preseason, if you have an injured preseason, you're not gonna hit the ground in the league or when you're playing matches. But if you have a good preseason, you score goals, you get your confidence up, you get your fitness up. Anyone who's played football knows exactly what I'm talking about in terms of Isak. So I'm not going to go too hard on Isak, in my opinion. I also believe Liverpool are normally buy players that are not fully stars yet. They make their own stars. So basically, they buy players just below the star level, and then they build them up to be their own star. You look at Mane, you look at Salah, you look at Virgil van Dijk. Those type of players. That's what Liverpool are used to buying. Now Liverpool are going for the superstars like Verts, Isak. Basically, the finished products. That's not what Liverpool are a workman-like team. They normally have workman-like players. But this year, I feel like the work rate has completely dropped in this Liverpool team whenever I've seen them play. McAllister has probably only had one good game. I've watched him play, and that was against Real Madrid at home in the Champions League. I think Liverpool are carrying too many passengers. Not enough of the players are doing their work off the ball like they were last season or the last couple of years, in my opinion. They also miss Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz was very underrated because the work rate he got through on that left-hand side for Liverpool was magnificent. And that's how Robertson was able to bomb up front, get crosses and get the assists that he was getting in the last couple of years. And this year, you have Gakpo there. Gakpo is okay. I don't mind Gakpo, but if you're looking to win the league, you need a better player than Gakpo starting left wing, in my opinion. And like I said, Liverpool are very, very top-heavy. They should have signed a couple more. I think they should have signed either... They definitely needed a centre half this summer, which they obviously tried to get Marquez. They couldn't get Marquez. They probably will get in January or maybe in the summer. However, they should have made sure if they couldn't get him, they should have got another player that was pretty decent enough to come into the team to play, because they saw what Konate was like at the start of the season. That should have rang alarm bells for Liverpool higher up the hierarchy in Liverpool to get a better centre half, in my opinion. But what I would say, after criticising all of them, there is a silver lining here for Liverpool. They're only 5 points behind Chelsea in second place. So this year the league is very strange. Obviously Arsenal run away with it, but everybody else can beat anybody. So if Liverpool put a good run together, I believe they can literally climb up the table pretty easily, in my opinion. And also what I would say about Salah has been one of the best players in the Premier League the last maybe 7 to 8 years. But this season, he's not getting goals or assists to cover up the stinkers he normally drops once every couple of weeks. And obviously, it's showing so far this season for Liverpool. There's no creativity up top, and that's killing that team. That team is very top-heavy. If you're going to be a top-heavy team, you need to be scoring 2, 3, 4 goals per game. And Liverpool aren't doing that at the moment. So it's not leading them. It's not leading them to victories. And they don't seem to be they don't seem to be fluid when you watch Liverpool attack. In the past, you see Liverpool attack is very fluid. You have Firmino, Mane, Salah. It's just so fluid. But nowadays, it's not fluid. Everything's feeling very, very forced when you watch Liverpool attack nowadays. And I don't think they're creating chances. Good enough chances as well. On a serious note, I've seen a lot of people say the Jota situation could have an impact. Of course it's going to have an impact on that team. Grief is very, very hard. People deal with grief differently, in my opinion. Some people can deal with it, get on with life, just get about their day, but then they grieve in silence. However, some people, it affects them, their mood, it just affects them mentally, it just affects them a lot, in my opinion. So what I would say is Liverpool fans weren't complaining about Jota at the start in terms of, I don't mean that in a negative way, but they weren't saying, oh, Jota's the reason why we're winning when they were winning games. So you can't really use that as an excuse now. Just let the guy rest in peace and just get on with the game and let the players grieve, in my opinion. And what I would say about Slot is he needs to earn his money now. You need to figure out some way to make all those players work. You need to figure out some way. You need to make tough calls. You need to bench a couple of players, bring a couple of hungry players in, make sure that team is ready for games of the weekend. Slot needs to make a couple of tough calls, in my opinion. And if you sign a lot of players, you can't start all of them. You have to make a couple of tough calls, drop a couple of players, bring a couple of off the bench, get back to the workman-like midfield, workman-like team that won you the Premier League. Don't be chasing stars. Don't be playing all the players you just bought simply because they have big names. They're going to be upset. If they're upset, fuck them. What you need to do is start your best 11, the best 11 that suit the team, not the best 11 that you bought. The best 11 that suit the team, that suit the way you want to see the team play, and eventually I think Liverpool will get back on the winning ways, in my opinion. Thank you very much if you got to the end of my video. Make sure to click on the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. And everyone subscribe, thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Thank you. And also, if you have an opinion on Liverpool, make sure to drop it down in the comment section below. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.